Well, here's the Audi's engine again. This time we're going to go ahead and fix the damn intake problem. So apparently that little opening there is part of the automatic temperature control system or valve or something like that. The way it's supposed to work is when the engine is cold, it'll suck hot air off of the exhaust manifold, which is what that pipe on the right hand side goes to. And when the engine is warm, that valve will close and allow cold air from the outside to make its way into the engine. From what I understand, they do this for emissions purposes, but I've done some testing with this valve and it doesn't appear to open ever, whether the engine is hot or cold. So I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom of the air box out here and figure out what the hell the problem is. So you're looking at two of the main pieces of this automatic temperature control valve for the intake system. On the left hand side you have some sort of actuator that's attached to a spring, and that's what opens the little valve. Right now I guess it's closed. On the right hand side is of course the valve. So let me go ahead and push that little actuator in. Okay, see my fingers on it? So the amount of tension, or I guess pressure, I'm having to apply to this thing is pretty crazy. I don't see what the hell is going to do that. So you can see to the right of the brass bit, that's actually a spring that's in there. And when the brass bit is pushed in, that spring closes. Perhaps it's actually temperature sensitive and it retracts when it's hot. I'm not really sure, but bottom line is that it's malfunctioning and I need to figure out how to fix this, because it is not good that the engine is only getting super hot air from the exhaust manifold. So I'm going to try to detach that hose and see where we go from there. So now we've got three different holes here. On the left hand side we have the hole that is supposed to suck outside cold air into the air filter. The middle hose, you can kind of see it in the back there in the distance, that's actually attached to the intake of the exhaust manifold. That obviously doesn't do anything but just suck air off the exhaust manifold. It's not like it's plugged into the exhaust, not sucking exhaust, if you know. And then on the right hand side, this is the hose that connected this weird little air box thing to that hose down there. So it's still attached. I can't get the hose clamp, which looks like this. Whoops, this is the one I got off the exhaust part. I can't get the hose clamp that's attached to the actual air box. It's at a weird angle. And it looks like there's tabs. It's not very light in here. See, there's a tab there on the kind of left-hand side. You might be able to take this little contraption off, but I'm worried about breaking it. So I think that I'm just going to kind of leave it like this and see where we go. And probably turn the car on and see how much air gets sucked out of here. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, looks like the plan works. It's sucking air from the hose on the right hand side, which means it's sucking it from the outside air instead of air warmed by the exhaust. I did find another problem while I was under the car though. If you notice that there is kind of this weird rattling sound, it almost kind of sounds like a grinding sound. Turns out that that's the catalytic converter. The previous owner told me that one of the exhaust hangers had failed and that's what was making that rattling sound. When I was under there, I bumped into the catalytic converter and it made that exact sound. So unfortunately that means that the exhaust needs a little work, but I think that this is the first part of the intake improvements, I guess if you want to call it that. I've got some other ideas, things I want to do with it, but I think this will do for now.